Hi everyone, 26th of June, 9 minutes to 2 p.m. in the afternoon on a Monday in Australia. Here is my next video blog. Now today we're just going to cover an article that I came across when I was looking through my Blockfolio. There happens to be a little pretty cool little news desk in there, and I tend to browse through keywords and get a really good grasp of what's happening. And I picked up this title in regards to EOS. And now EOS is about to have their, it's not an ICO, but in a sense it's the same type of theory where they are offering coins and tokens in exchange for funds to support their next project. So call it whatever you like. It has got a different setup. It's going to be, I think it's held over in 4 stages over a year or something like that. So it's going to allow people the opportunity to get invested at their own time and at different points across the way. And I think there's also going to be an auction, and basically this auction will leverage a particular price or an average or something like that. So I'm not 100% sure on all the details, but that's how it's going to be working. And I think there's 1 billion coins up for grabs now. Now the thing is, it's like being in business. All marketing is good marketing in a sense, and sometimes they say negative marketing or bad marketing, or is it a bad a bad report can also be very positive for your brand, because any marketing that gets out in front of the public tends to promote the brand at a basic level, and it creates a lot of talk and chatter and traffic. So EOS is something that Dan Larimer, who has been a catalyst in regards to quite a bit of the main advancements in blockchain, and that's got to do with proof of stake. He's also been involved in BitShares, also been involved in Steam. He's a big supporter of decentralization. Now, the thing that I've come across in regards to this particular article is that it's having a little bit of a go, and you can sort of feel there's a little bit of energy and a little bit of negative energy in regards to EOS, and I would actually say it's because I think some people are actually scared of what Dan Larimer can actually come up with, in the sense that I feel that his graphene-based technology and what he's been able to put together has already pretty much made a lot of these other blockchains look obsolete and made them look a little bit silly. And what's happening is, if he's going to create an EOS, now EOS is essentially going to be a platform which will, in a sense, rival Ethereum, in that other dApps can then integrate into a central gateway as such. Again, this is something, in regards to my terminology, I might not be 100% on, but excuse me, I do understand that that's the premise. It's to create gateways for dApps and developers, and be able to produce a blockchain that's going to excel in regards to speed, transactions and performance. So what I wanted to do is just read out this article on EOS. EOS, unpacking the big promises behind a possible blockchain contender. It's no secret blockchain is a land of extraordinary claims. Complicating matters, though, is even the most ridiculous have shown a propensity to work. If 2 years ago you were told a blockchain would exist that would be so powerful as to enable startups to forego VC investing, you may have laughed. Today, the creators and developers of Ethereum would be the ones laughing. Amid this larger context, last month's Consensus Conference was abuzz with energy surrounding EOS, a new smart contract platform for building decentralized applications with purports to solve some of blockchain's technology thorniest problems. Block One, the developer of EOS, made a public relations splash, hosting numerous informational sessions, sponsoring post-conference receptions, giving out free t-shirts, and even advertising on a Times Square jumbotron. The selling point: Block One claimed its platform has eliminated transaction fees and has the ability to process millions of transactions per second. Yet today the platform is just a concept, just a white paper, and there's no code to examine as of yet. Now, I've been actively reading and watching the activity in the Telegram group. Now, Dan Larimer is in there every single day answering questions. There's a lot of intelligence in that group compared to some of the other Telegrams that I see, and they are very excited about this entire project. I think there's a little bit of speculation around the actual coin offering because I think people don't totally understand how it's going to work. So just because it's a little bit different to what the ICOs have been so far, so people don't really adapt to change that fast. So there is a little bit more information on the website and a little bit more information being splashed around in the Telegram. But from what I can see, there's a lot of positive support in that group. Now, I'm just going to keep going. So what should investors make of this mysterious project? And what should they think when, as part of an effort to build the platform, they hear the company is raising funds through a 4-stage offering of 1 billion EOS tokens scheduled to commence next week? Depending on who you ask, you may get one of many answers. Game changer with a question mark? Perhaps the most notable aspect of EOS is who's involved. For example, there's the familiar face the company pulled to be its CTO, and that is Dan Larimer. A controversial figure in the blockchain community, Larimer has won praise for his intrepid and heterodox approach to developing new products, but also scorn for the way in which he's handled and exited those same endeavours. Now, I'm just going to say something in regards to that. Dan Larimer is supporting decentralised programs, platforms, blockchains. So once it's set up and all the code is open source, it's there, and the project teams are supporting it and the development teams are there, I don't think he has to hang around. I mean, he's the brains trust, and I feel that he's got more important things to be working on, such as EOS, and from as far as I knew, he was always going to do BitShares and Steam and these type of platforms and try to bring it all together, because that was his larger vision. I'll keep going. Controversial, done that. Larimer, who is credited with inventing delegated proof of stake and the concept of decentralised autonomous organisations, is a cryptocurrency veteran who made a splash in 2014 with the launch of BitShares, a decentralised exchange. While many saw BitShares' introduction of market-pegged assets as a much-needed hedge against cryptocurrency volatility, others saw the project as overly convoluted and deceptive, and many were flustered by Larimer's abrupt exit from BitShares, which left the entity with no clear path forward. Larimer's departure from BitShares came with the launch of another project, Steam, in 2016. The Reddit-style social media platform allows users to generate income based on the popularity of their posts. It has received both kudos from blockchain pundits, making thousands of dollars off short biographical entries, and criticism from many who argue the platform is unsustainable based on contrived notion of scarcity. But Larimer and his colleague, Block One CEO Brendan Bloomer, argue that while these projects have had their hiccups, they served as the foundational building blocks of this capstone project, EOS. Now, that's how I look at it too. You can't just sit there and stay on BitShares if you need to go and look at other elements and bring all of these projects together. And that's what I would have done. Each project, Larimer claims, solved a core problem inhibiting the widespread use of blockchain applications on a commercial scale. BitShares introduced the concept of horizontal scalability, which allowed for transaction processing speeds as high as 100,000 per second. As far as I know, that's the fastest blockchain on the market, and there's nothing that rivals it. I think Digibyte is going to come to 280,000 transactions per second by the year 2030 or something similar to that. It's a scaled system. It only increases transactions based on traffic, which is a pretty cool little thing as well. So that's one of the main parameters for me getting behind the graphene was speed, because I was thinking forward and what we're going to need in the future. Once blockchain really catches on, you've got high load of traffic, what do you need? You need seamless transactions, and that's where speed comes into it. Steam sought to tackle the issue of transaction costs by providing a means by which users could interact with the application without incurring fees. According to Bloomer, who has a background in video game currencies and real estate, horizontal scalability, which allows for the parallel execution of smart contracts and the simultaneous processing of transactions, is the game changer EOS hinges on. This is the difference that other blockchains, in which essentially every application in running on the same network, on the same network, getting into single file line and then processing one at a time. And I have read that a little bit. I think that's how you look at the blocks. They do have to tend to get in line and do one at a time, whereas they're looking at different ways of increasing speeds in these blockchains. And there was another one I was thinking of. It's escaped my mind. I'll come back to it. Like what EOS did, building an asynchronous proof-of-stake blockchain platform from the ground up. Those two showed me how to make blockchains that are indistinguishable from centralized alternatives as far as user experience goes, Larimer said. Can it work? The new project of Larimer's, much like his past ones, has been met with pushback from some in the community. Some are taking it taking an "I'll believe it when I see it" approach, while others are accusing him of selling snake oil outright. The primary ground for objection is that important technical questions remain unanswered. However, if you're in the Telegram group, he's answering these questions pretty much every single day. So that's not accurate. EOS's goal is to essentially create the equivalent of an early 1990s web server, albeit one which uses some of the cryptographic principles found in Bitcoin and Ethereum. EOS will incorporate Larimer's delegated proof of stake, or DPoS, consensus protocol, which can be compared to a republic whereby members of the community delegate the responsibility of verifying transactions to an elected witnesses. Proponents claim that DPoS, or proof of stake, has the potential to reduce transaction processing time because fewer nodes are involved in the verification process. This in turn provides a workaround to some of the traditional scaling issues found in proof-based protocols, but many are cautious about the opportunities for double dealing. Darren Larimer has started several proof-of-stake based projects, and they have all been shady in nature, Vase says. Both BitShares and Steem allowed insiders to create lots of tokens for themselves, and after that the proof-of-stake nature of the project allowed those insiders to print tokens of value for themselves into perpetuity. I'm not totally sure about that. That's a claim. I'm not saying that that's true or not. There are some big whales on Steem, but they were there at the start. And they got in early, so I'm not sure on the details. The white paper also explains latency problems will be mitigated by breaking each block into cycles, divided into different threads and subsequently into different transactions that contain messages to be delivered. This structure can be visualized as a tree where alternating layers are processed sequentially and in parallel. It's getting a bit technical there. Okay. This is Darren Larimer's reply. Larimer insists concerns over his past are overblown. For one, he alleges his intention with BitShares and Steem was all along to build the platforms up to the point where they could be self-sustaining and handed off, which makes sense in a decentralized environment. I started Steem with the intention of leaving it to build a smart contract platform. I was just the person who conceived the idea and set the thing in motion, he explained. Steem is being produced by Steemit Inc. And as it relates to BitShares, I made sure it was self-funding and self-sustaining. I built the project up and gave them the tools they needed. Larimer pushed back against accusations that he let his previous projects die on a vine by highlighting that both Steem and BitShares are continuing to generate strong interest. Both have received substantial upticks in interest and traffic in recent months, though some of that he conceded is attributable to the EOS marketing campaign. I'm working with an extremely professional team that is managing EOS at a higher level than the previous projects. At the end of the day, this is a team of people who have come forward and they're trying to build something that they think is innovative and that they want people to build new applications on top of. I think everyone should be should support people who are doing innovative things. That's what we need in this world. And and I agree with that. I mean, it's funny how humans tend to gossip and try to detract from someone's actions, and a lot of the time it's got to do with a little bit of fear. They're worried about what the future may be. I tend to just take everything with a grain of salt and get excited for people who are innovating, because I agree with this statement that we need these type of people. We need the Darren Larimers who are going to improve the existing blockchain and what's available now, so in 20 years time it's not already obsolete. And that's very, very important, especially for investors. In the early days of cryptocurrencies, you go and put your money into blockchain. The last thing you want to do is see it fall down and not be sustainable in the long term. And I think that's highly feasible. You look at Bitcoin and Ethereum; they're already starting to look a little bit obsolete, and they're having scalability issues, and there's all sorts of just things that are causing a few headaches for development teams and mining pools and all sorts of people who are in witnesses and things like that, who need to maintain their own integrity in regards to monitoring these individual blockchains. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you. EOS is going to have its coin offering, if you like, token offering in the next week or so. It's something worth going and checking out. If you want to get into the Telegram group, I'd go and search for that. And definitely have a look at what EOS is doing. EOS has got a website. I think it's eos.io or something like that, very similar. You can sign up and get all the emails, and I've been getting those emails. And they seem to be on the ball so far, and I think it's very, very exciting. If EOS can pull off what they're talking about, I think you'll find that Ethereum is going to have some serious competition in regards to the future. And in 10 years' time, Ethereum might get trampled on by EOS, or they might both stand side by side. And I think that's highly likely as well, because you'll have the infrastructure already there, and they'll be doing their own thing. They'll have their own market share, and they'll be focusing on what they can achieve. But again, it comes back to that premise: you can't just have one. There's always going to be a Sony and a Sanyo and a Nike and an Adidas. So is it going to be an Ethereum and an EOS? And what are the others going to be? So very, very interesting times ahead. So have a look into that. Thanks for watching my video. Let me know what you think of EOS. Let me know what you think of Steam and BitShares and PeerPlays and some of these other graphene-based applications that are going to be feeding off the EOS and as part of this massive Dan Larimer collective. So have a great day. Tune into my next video, and thanks for watching.